Welcome on in folks to another Fallout 76 video on the channel, and thanks for taking the time to come here and check out this video. In today's video we're going to be going over 5 really useful tips when it comes to completing the seasonal event Fasnacht. As you know, Fasnacht is still running this week right through to July 9th, and this year there's a ton of great rewards that you can get your hands on. So let's get our masks on and help you get a little bit further to getting those sought after rewards. The first thing to remember, even before you get the festivities on the way and parade through Helvetia, is to know each of the Protectron Marcher locations, so that you can easily deposit the necessary items into their inventory, so that you can complete the 5 randomly assigned tasks to get the parade underway. There are a total of 8 Protectrons that can be randomly selected as a marcher in the parade, and to coincide with that, their locations are scattered around the village. Some, such as the Merry Woodsman, can be very easily found up at the church where the bonfire is lit at the final stage of the event, but others can be tricky to locate, and that's if it's your first time. A good thing to remember is that there will be 4 Protectron Marchers in 4 of the buildings in the centre of the town: the Gleeful Butcher, the Happy Candlemaker, the Jolly Baker, and the Jubilant Decorator. You can then find the Joyous Musician over by the stage beside the bridge in the centre of the town, and then for the rest, the Cheerful Beekeeper, which is located at the Honey House, and lastly, the Convivial Historian, which is located in the hut beside the church. It's good to familiarise yourself with these locations each time you take part in the event, so that you know exactly where to go each time when the event gets underway. Number 2 is to bring your materials with you to help speed up the process. If you're new to Fallout 76 and have possibly completed the Fasnacht event several times already, you might already be aware that by completing the 5 randomly assigned tasks to get the parade started, that you're required to deposit things such as wood, beeswax, and intestines. A good thing to do, regardless if you have a Fallout 1 scrap box or not, is to store as much of these items in your stash box during your downtime as you wait for the next parade to start. Just by simply going about your normal day-to-day adventures, you can come across wood, beeswax, and intestines across the wasteland, and if you make sure to collect and hold on to some of these materials before the next parade begins, you can be lucky enough to get assigned with that task again the next time the parade starts up. You can easily save yourself a bit of time working on other tasks around the village by quickly depositing things such as wood to the Merry Woodsman from your stash box. Number 3, don't be afraid to use fire. One of the main things to remember is that events such as Fasnacht can be very similar to other events you come across in Fallout 76. What I mean by this is that the formula to completing the event works the same as a lot of other events in the game already, such as starting the event by interacting with an NPC, completing several tasks before the event begins, and then defend each of the NPCs or robots or locations around the area, and the more those particular NPCs or robots or locations remain alive or intact before the timer runs out, the higher the chance you have to be rewarded with the top tier rewards. But inevitably, those NPCs or robots will take a lot of damage, as they're pretty much designed to do so. But don't worry, there's a nice simple trick that you can use to help keep those robots marching right up until the end. If you haven't already, make sure to equip the Friendly Fire perk card. The great thing about this card is that when you use weapons that produce fire damage, such as flamethrowers, shish kebabs, and even auto axes with the burning mod attached, you can use these weapons on robots to regenerate their health. This can be very useful, especially if you're running the event solo or with a friend or two, as sometimes the robots can get very easily overwhelmed by enemies such as radtoads and super mutants along the way, so make sure to pack some heat when you run your next parade. Number 4, spread out. At this stage, if you've run the event several times, you'll realise that it's not a simple walk in the park, or should I say, walk in the village. You'll already understand that the event requires you to defend the stars of the show, the Protectron Marchers. The Protectrons will roughly stop at 3 to 4 locations around Helvetia before making their way to the final stage, which is the lighting of the bonfire. A good thing to do is to familiarise yourself with the locations where the robots will stop, and then enemies will begin to invade and try to destroy the robots. Don't worry, you don't need to stand right beside the robots as they march along the village, but even if you have a friend or two with you, some useful tips can include jumping on top of the buildings around the village to give yourself a better overview of the town and catch out some of those enemy spawn locations before they have a chance to reach the robots. And lastly, number 5, teamwork. This one might seem quite self-explanatory, but teamwork in an event like this is key. Work with your friends and players in the event to maximize on where enemies are, and even give your teammates a heads up on where some of those legendary enemies may spawn, so you can give people an opportunity to maximize on as much rewards from the event as possible. Simple gestures with emotes, even though seem very easy to use, can go a very long way in helping out those players who might not be as familiar with the event as some of you seasoned veterans. And there you have it, some extremely useful tips to help you maximize and get the best possible rewards out of the Fasnacht event. Let me know below in the comments if you have some tips that I might have missed that could potentially help out other players. And if you did find that today's video helped you out, consider giving the video a like. And if you don't want to miss out on future videos, be sure to click that bell notification button. For you Bethesda and Fallout fans, if you find yourself purchasing anything on the Bethesda Gear Store and you'd like to support the channel, you can use my discount code BTFasnacht24 right up until July 9th for 20% off of your entire purchase. And before we wrap things up for today, I'd like to say a big thank you to all of our subscribers here on the channel. Your support and dedication means a lot to me, and I can't thank you enough for your incredible support. But until next time, stay safe out there in the wasteland, welcome to Vault 93, and I'll catch all of you legends in the next video.